So, what does it truly mean to be a superior man in today's world? It's a question that feels, well, more complex than ever.
Definitely. Especially as all those traditional roles seem to be dissolving around us.
Right, and that search for genuine purpose and passion, it often feels like you're just stumbling around in the dark.
Exactly. Which is why today we're doing a deep dive into David Deida's work, The Way of the Superior Man. It's pretty profound stuff.
Yeah, and it's not your typical self-help book, is it?
No, not at all. It's really positioned as a practical guide for what Deida calls a newly evolving man, someone who's trying to embody both, robust masculinity and deep spiritual sensitivity.
That's a potent combination.
It is. And Deida offers this, pretty bold hands-on approach. It's about integrating spiritual growth with, the messy realities of modern life.
Especially relationships, work, desires.
Right, specifically relationships with women, work, sexual desire. So our mission today is really to pull out the key insights, the sort of crucial nuggets of wisdom from the book.
And make them easy to understand, maybe even entertaining.
Hopefully entertaining, yeah. But most importantly, actionable. So you can actually take something away and maybe apply it in your daily life. We want you to walk away not just, knowing more, but with actual ideas on how to use this stuff.
Okay, absolutely. But before we jump right in, it's really important we mention the important caution that Deida himself puts right there in the book.
Yes, the disclaimer. Good point.
He explicitly states this work is not meant to provide specific medical, psychological, emotional, sexual, or spiritual advice.
Which makes sense. He and the publisher basically say, look, go talk to a licensed, qualified professional for your individual needs.
Exactly. So, just to be clear, we're here to explore and discuss the ideas impartially. Think of us as guides through the terrain of the book.
Helping you connect the dots, maybe see different angles.
So definitely not a substitute for professional help if you need it. So with that clear, let's start unpacking the foundations of Deida's vision.
Okay, so first up, we really need to dig into the bedrock of his philosophy. It's about this kind of radical new definition of masculinity and this core concept he calls polarity.
Polarity, okay.
The book kicks off by confronting what he calls the shifting landscape of manhood. He points out how those old rigid roles for men and women are just dissolving rapidly.
And often women are kind of taking the lead and exploring new ways of expressing themselves sexually, right?
And stepping into new styles of sexual expression, leadership. And this massive shift leads to a really critical question for men.
Which is?
Well, if a man's value isn't just measured by his job title or his bank balance or his social standing anymore, then how does he figure out his worth? What's his anchor?
That's a big one. So what's Deida's answer?
His answer is pretty revolutionary for a lot of people. He argues that a man's most valuable asset isn't his achievements, it's his presence.
Presence, meaning?
Meaning his depth of awareness, his way of just being in the world. And this isn't about being stoic or cold.
Right.
It's conveyed through things like a steady gaze, full, relaxed breathing, and being really grounded in what Deida calls the unfathomable mystery of life.
Wow. Okay, so it's less about doing and more about being. Cultivating a kind of steady yes to whatever is happening right now?
Precisely. And that alone just flips the script on masculine strength, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It shifts it away from external control or having stuff towards this unwavering inner steadiness.
Yeah, it does. So for you listening, maybe think about this. Are you mostly identifying with what you accomplish? Or are you working on cultivating that deeper sort of self-radiant awareness that stays steady no matter what's going on outside?
That's such a crucial distinction, and it really challenges, centuries of conditioning for a lot of men.
Totally.
So to kind of illustrate this shift, the book quickly traces the history of modern gender roles. He talks about stage one, which he calls fixed roles.
The classics. The macho jerk and the submissive housewife.
Exactly those archetypes. They seem old-fashioned, but he says they operated through manipulation, either outright dominance or, subtle emotional games.
But the book assumes most of us listening have moved past that stage, right?
Yeah, thankfully. He kind of assumes you've outgrown that pretty limited way of being.
Okay, so what's stage two?
Stage two is the 50-50 balance. This was and is a really important phase. It's where we saw this necessary embrace of fluidity.
Right, like men exploring their inner feminine sensitivity, flow, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and women embracing their inner masculine careers, assertiveness, purpose. And the results were undeniably positive in many ways.
More wholeness for individuals, more economic independence.
Definitely. A wider range of expression for everyone. But Deida points out this hidden pitfall in the pure 50-50 model.
Which is?
While it achieved a lot in terms of social and economic equality, which is vital, he argues it inadvertently led to something he calls sexual neutrality.
Sexual neutrality, meaning the passion just fizzles out.
Pretty much. The spark kind of dies. And this shows up in those common complaints you hear.
Like women saying there aren't enough strong, decisive men, calling them wimps.
Exactly. And men feeling overwhelmed by women they see as overly aggressive, labeling them ball-busters.
Yeah, you do hear that stuff. Does that ring true for you, listening? Or maybe you see it in relationships around you.
It's a common dynamic. And this brings us right to what Deida says is the absolute essential ingredient for passionate relationships. Sexual polarity.
Okay, polarity again. Define that for us.
He defines it as the force of passion that arcs between masculine and feminine poles. Think of it like magnets or electricity, that irresistible pull.
That dynamic energy that seems to vanish in so many modern couples.
That's the one. He says for real, vibrant passion, you need a ravisher and a ravishee.
Whoa, okay. Ravisher and ravishee. That sounds intense. Is that about control?
Not in a negative way, no. It's not about dominance or submission like in stage one. It's about the dynamic interplay of active and receptive energies. A deep contrast, he says, to just two buddies who decide to rub genitals.
Huh. Okay. Vivid phrasing.
Right. And crucially, he emphasizes this applies to all relationships where you want that sexual passion, regardless of gender or orientation.
So like butch-femme dynamics or top-bottom in BDSM.
Exactly. It's about energetic polarity, fundamentally, not just biology.
Got it. Which leads us naturally to understanding our own core sexual essence, right?
Yes. He introduces this idea of your sexual essence as your deepest, most fundamental drive. He estimates maybe 90% of people have a dominant masculine or feminine essence.
And the other 10%.
More energetically balanced.
Yeah.
And maybe less driven by that strong sexual polarity.
Okay. So for those with a dominant masculine essence, what's their core drive?
Your deepest priority is mission and the search for freedom. Deida says a man with this essence feels this profound emptiness, like he's lost, unless he finds and actively lives his deep, authentic purpose.
That explains a lot, like why some guys are drawn to things like football or boxing.
He connects it, yeah. Those activities involve breaking through limits, achieving a clear mission, facing a kind of symbolic death shedding, the old self.
Interesting. And the feminine sexual essence.
Her priority is the search for love. A woman with this essence finds her core fulfillment, feels truly alive when love is flowing fully in her intimate life or family life.
So the attraction to love stories, soap operas, deep relationship talks.
It connects back to that search for fullness, the complete unhindered flow of love. That's her core seeking fulfillment.
And this is where it connects back to you, the listener, right? Because denying your essence causes problems.
Big problems, according to Deida. If you deny your true essence, say, a masculine guy suppresses his drive for purpose just to be nicer, or a feminine woman focuses only on her career for independence, but neglects her deep need for love, it can lead straight to unhappiness.
Stress, even physical symptoms.
Yeah, it's like an internal misalignment that shows up externally. It creates friction within yourself.
So the real goal here, for this deep dive and for the book itself, it's aimed at helping you if you've got that masculine sexual essence.
And by extension, helping your feminine essence lovers.
Right, helping you live more authentically with more passion and really magnifying the love in your lives.
It's about moving beyond those caricatures, the macho jerk or the sensitive wimp.
And instead, uniting heart and spine, finding that new kind of guts.
Exactly. That courage that's both emotionally smart and fiercely purposeful, that's the real path Deida lays out.
Okay. Powerful foundation. Let's move into part one then. A Man's Way, all about cultivating that inner strength and purpose.
Right. And he starts with a bang in chapter 1. Stop waiting for life to begin.
The procrastination station.
Totally. He calls it a pervasive masculine error, this belief that one day it will all be done.
Like I'll be happy when I have enough money or when the kids leave home or when I finish this project.
Yeah, all those obligations we think need to magically disappear first. Deida's response is blunt. It never ends.
Ouch. But true. There's always something else.
Always. So the actionable lesson here for you is immediate. Stop postponing the good stuff, the things you genuinely love, feel called to do.
And he says, dedicate what? A minimum of an hour a day to it?
Minimum 1 hour a day, despite everything else you have to do. And he stresses this isn't just like a feel-good tip.
It's a test.
It's a test of your creative discipline, your willingness to face whether that fantasy of your future life is simply a fantasy Are you actually willing to give your gift now?
That's confronting. And how does this apply in relationships?
It extends powerfully there, too. He says, basically, stop waiting for your woman to magically change into someone else.
Assume she'll always be herself.
Assume she'll always be herself. And if her behavior is just, distasteful or a hassle, maybe she's moody, maybe she complains.
Well then.
Embrace it. Touch her. Tell her you love her even when she's being that way. Find the humor, he suggests, in the unending emotional drama the feminine seems to enjoy so much.
Trying to fix her won't work.
Never works, he says. But your unconditional love and presence might actually help her realign. He notes that the men who've lived truly significant lives didn't wait for things to be perfect, not for money, security, or their partners.
Okay. Next up, embracing pain with openness. This sounds tough.
It is. It challenges that default masculine reaction to pain or failure or criticism, which is usually to close down.
Withdraw, hide, tense up, physically and emotionally.
Exactly. But Deida argues that self-protective tension actually stops you from acting freely. It blocks access to your full intelligence.
So the actionable lesson is, don't do that. Easier said than done.
Well, the practice is to deliberately open your body in those moments of automatic closing.
How? Like physically?
Yeah. Sit or stand up straight and tall. Consciously soften your chest and belly. Breathe deeply through the chest, solar plexus, right down into a vast belly.
And looking people in the eye.
Looking directly into others' eyes with an unguarded gaze. He says this physical and energetic openness lets your fullest intelligence come through. You can sense subtle cues, respond with wisdom.
Okay, interesting. Then chapter 3, liberating from past influences, focusing on the father relationship.
Yeah, this is crucial. He says a man needs to truly love his father, but also be totally free from his father's expectations, his criticisms, even his unfulfilled dreams, to really be a free man.
That's a deep one. Most guys probably don't examine much.
Exactly. So the actionable lesson here is this powerful kind of symbolic exercise. Imagine your father has died, or if he has, really recall those feelings. Did any part of you feel relief? Were you freed from trying to please him even subconsciously?
Wow.
Then, for the next 3 days, he suggests doing at least one thing each day that you've avoided or suppressed because of his influence, even if you still feel afraid or unworthy.
Just to consciously break that pattern.
Exactly, to break free from those internalized expectations.
This flows right into honesty about your limits, doesn't it? That theme of authenticity.
It really does. This chapter hits home because we all do it. Deida says it's honorable, even brave, to admit your fears, your resistance, what he calls your edge of practice.
But it's dishonorable to lie. To yourself or others.
Fundamentally dishonorable to lie about your real place, where your limits currently are. And he defines your edge as that specific point where you stop short, where you compromise your fullest gift because of some fear.
Like in your career, maybe not taking a bigger step because you fear failure, or resisting a lifestyle change.
Precisely. And the consequences of pretending, of self-delusion, are pretty stark. If you act like you're not afraid when you are, people feel it. Friends, partners, they sense the inauthenticity and eventually lose trust.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he warns against two extremes here. One is hanging back, playing it safe, leading to a secure but ultimately dead life.
No passion.
Right. And the other is pushing too hard, aggressively, out of insecurity, which leads to a false, off-center life.
So the sweet spot is?
Radical honesty. The actionable lesson is an experiment. Describe your edge out loud to yourself, about your career, your relationship, whatever. Be brutally honest about the fears, the choices.
And his advice is to live with your lips pressed against your fears.
Yeah, kissing your fears, neither pulling back nor aggressively violating them. It's poetic, but the point is that profound authenticity builds unshakable trust in yourself and from others. It makes you grounded.
Powerful stuff. Okay, chapter 5, anchoring in deeper truth. This sounds more spiritual.
It is. This takes us to the spiritual core of the book. Deida urges that eternity must be a man's home, moment by moment. Meaning recognizing that everything else, job, family, money, is ultimately superficial and empty if it doesn't flow from your conscious loving, from that deeper ground.
So it's not just philosophy, it's a practical way to live.
Exactly. The actionable lesson is to make your whole life an ongoing process of being your deepest, most easeful, authentic self. Regularly relax your attention back into its source.
The source beam.
That constant silent awareness pervading everything. The unmoving ground of being beneath all the noise.
And he suggests practical ways to do this.
Yeah, practical aids. Like reading books that remind you of your true nature, spending time with inspiring people, daily practices like meditation, contemplation, prayer, whatever works to steep yourself in the source.
And the warning is not to postpone this for busyness.
Huge warning. Don't put it off for daily tasks, because otherwise life just rushes by, totally absorbed in the mundane, and you never touch that ultimate truth or fulfillment.
Only by being grounded in something bigger can you play the game of life with humor, right?
Exactly. Knowing it's all, in a deeper sense, kind of a mirage of necessity, you can engage fully but lightly.
Okay, let's tackle this next one. It's a biggie, often controversial. Your purpose must come before your relationship.
Yeah, this can be a real wake-up call, especially for guys conditioned to always put their partner first. Deida is unequivocal. A man's highest purpose in life cannot be reduced to any particular relationship.
And he argues prioritizing the relationship over purpose actually weakens the man.
Weakens him, yeah. He says it deserves the universe because you're holding back your unique gift. And ultimately, it cheats his woman.
Wow. So the actionable lesson is what? Be honest with yourself.
Brutally honest. Admit to yourself that if you had to choose, you'd choose succeeding at your purpose.
And then what? In the moment.
The next time you feel that pull to just give in to your woman's demands or postpone your mission for her, stop. Stop. Tell her you love her deeply, but you simply cannot deny your heart's purpose. Then, and this is key, offer a specific dedicated time, maybe 30 minutes, of absolute undivided attention just for her.
And then return to your mission.
Then return to your mission. He suggests this act of self-knowledge and integrity often lifts a huge weight off both partners.
Interesting. Okay, that connects to Chapter 8, lean just beyond your edge. This sounds like a core practice.
It really is. Once you're honest about where your edge is, the path forward, Deida says, is to constantly lean just beyond it.
Which takes courage, right? Avoiding the easy path of comfort, but also avoiding pushing too hard out of insecurity.
Exactly. It's a fine line. And he says fear is actually the sharpest definition of your current limits. You should know it, feel it constantly. Make friends with it, because it shows you exactly where your growth edge is.
So the lesson isn't to get rid of fear.
No. It's to stay with the fear. Don't fight it. Don't run. That, he promises, is where real transformation happens.
Stepping off the solid ground of security with an open heart.
Yeah. Standing in unknowingness, raw and awake, embracing the discomfort of not knowing. He argues this unlocks alive and humble spontaneity. It prepares you for the unknown because you're not held back by fear or pushed by neurosis.
Okay, Chapter 9, do it for love. How does purpose extend into, well, everything?
He says the way a man penetrates the world, engages with work, challenges passions, should be the same way he approaches intimacy.
Meaning?
Not merely for personal gain or pleasure, but to magnify love, openness, and depth.
And he thinks many men fall short here. Settle for less.
Yeah, he suggests many men kind of settle for enjoying a little bit of freedom and love while incompletely giving their gifts, leaving them feeling incomplete.
And the true gift of sex isn't just physical.
No, it's to penetrate and bloom her beyond all limits into love, which requires authenticity, persistence, courage. It's about liberating her and yourselves into deeper truth.
So the challenge for you, the listener, is, are you willing to go all in?
Pretty much. Are you willing to do the deed for real, using everything you've got to liberate your woman, the world, into deeper truth, love, openness?
Giving your deepest genius with every thrust of sex in life, overcoming doubts and fears.
It's intense language, but that's the challenge. The choice he presents is stark.
Wow.
Be renunciate, withdraw, or ravish woman and world with unsheathed love, full, unconstrained, purposeful passion.
Using friction and opposition to smelt your gifts, thrusting love from freedom.
Yeah, it's a call to deeply embodied, purposeful living.
Okay, Chapter 11, if you don't know your purpose, discover it now. Sounds urgent.
He treats it as urgent, almost non-negotiable. The core of your life is your purpose. Without it, he says, a man is totally lost, drifting.
Adapting to events instead of creating them.
Exactly. Which leads to a weakened, impotent existence. Even sexually, he warns.
So the actionable lesson is pretty direct.
Crystal clear. If you know your purpose, discipline your life around it. Minimize distractions. If you don't know it, make finding it your absolute top priority, starting now.
Because when you're aligned, everything changes.
When you're aligned, every moment, career, intimacy is filled with the power of your heart purpose. You're not seeking fulfillment from things, you're giving your gifts from fullness.
Right. Then there's willing to change everything in your life. That sounds daunting.
It can be. He describes life as shedding layers. like shedding layers of karma or lesser purposes, constantly moving towards your deepest purpose.
And each purpose should be fully lived until it's empty. Boring.
Yeah, fully live to the point where it becomes empty, boring, and useless. And then you discard it. He stresses this isn't failure, it's growth, a natural evolution.
Are there signs you're completing a layer?
He gives clear signs. Sudden, deep disinterest in what used to consume you. No regrets about moving on. Feeling clear and unburdened even if you don't know what's next. More energy overall. The old thing just seems silly.
Okay, so if you see those signs, the actionable lesson is,
It's time to stop that current project or path. But importantly, do it impeccably.
meaning tie up loose ends, no new obligations out of habit.
Exactly. Fulfill what you committed to. And then, crucially, wait for a vision. Don't rush to fill the void with distractions, TV, games, dating.
Be open to receiving what's next.
Yes, you might need a temporary job, sure, but cultivate openness to receive a vision. And when it comes, act on it. Courageously, even if the details aren't all mapped out.
Okay. Now for another potentially controversial one. Don't use your family as an excuse.
Yeah, this is a powerful warning.
Yeah.
He says flat out, if a man permanently compromises his deepest purpose and uses his family as the excuse, his core weakens, and his woman instinctively loses trust.
He acknowledges that for some men, family is the deepest purpose.
Yes, he does. But he suggests many others have a deeper calling they sacrifice, using family as the reason.
And the connection to you listening is about quality over quantity of time with kids.
Right. He argues quantity matters less than quality. A short time with a father who's absolutely present, full of love, undivided, sure of his mission. That's far better than hours with a dad who's ambiguous or distracted inside.
So the actionable advice is find ways to support your mission, like time-sharing childcare, getting help.
Explore those options, yes, rather than just compromising your mission forever. Find your purpose, commit to it, then find a way to embrace your family fully while doing it.
Discipline yourself to act on your purpose first, so you can be fully present with family.
That's the idea. So when you are with them, you're totally there.
Yeah.
No inner distraction, no resentment draining your energy.
Okay, don't get lost in tasks and duties, the danger of do mode.
Exactly. That focus on tasks is a masculine strength, no doubt. But it becomes a weakness if you forget the larger purpose, if you become just a machine of picayune, a small-minded workhorse.
So how do you avoid that? Refresh the transcendental element.
Yeah. He suggests a simple, profound practice. Imagine your own death.
Whoa.
Yeah. In that last moment, what feeling fills you? Is it the endless task list? Or is it awe, gratitude, a sense of having lived aligned with truth?
That puts things in perspective. Tasks are just mechanics.
Just the mechanics of life on Earth, he says. They don't lead to ultimate truth or freedom in themselves. The key is to do them in a way that liberates your energy for that deeper investigation and embodiment of freedom.
So interrupt the schedule with refreshers.
Exactly. Contemplate death, behold something inspiring, meditate on existence, relax into love. Remember the infinite, he says, and then return to the task at hand. Don't be a robot of duty.
Okay, final point for part one, and it's a big recurring theme. Stop hoping for your woman to get easier.
Yes, central insight. Direct, challenging. Deida says a woman will always seem to test her man's capacity, his ability to stay unperturbed in his truth, his purpose.
Her tests, complaining, challenging, doubting, distracting, they won't end.
They will not end, according to the Gita. It's part of her nature. But connecting this to you, he says, learn to appreciate her testing.
Appreciate it how?
She's not trying to diminish you. She's checking your freedom, your depth of love, to know if you're truly trustable, if your purpose is solid.
He uses that example of the guy making $1 million, and she asks about milk.
Classic example. She doesn't care about the milk. She's testing his independence from her validation. She wants him to be Shiva-like, happy, centered, unwavering in his mission, regardless of her reactions or strokes.
So the actionable lesson is, don't take the complaint literally.
Absolutely crucial. Her complaint, whatever it is rarely true criticism. It's a test of your Shivahood, and paradoxically, it's the beginning of her pleasure when you meet it with presence, humor, happiness.
And the secret is, it never ends.
It never ends. This is the secret. You can't get out of it. So embrace it. Find the humor. Show her through your unshakable presence that your truth and love are stronger than her barbs. That's how she learns to trust you completely.
He suggests the most loving women test the most, because they want the best version of you.
That's his take. They want you to be your fullest, most magnificent self.
All right, powerful stuff in part one. Let's move into part two. Dealing with women, navigating intimacy with wisdom.
Okay, and this starts with a really insightful, maybe counterintuitive idea that runs through the book. Women are not liars.
Okay, explain that, because sometimes it feels like.
Right. What he means is a man often perceives women as liars because what she wants is not always what she says. Her communication, he explains, is often more tangential, expressive. It reflects her current feeling more than some fixed, logical desire.
Her truth is in the feeling of the moment, which can change.
Exactly. It's fluid. So the actionable lesson for you: don't believe the literal content of what your woman says unless love is flowing deeply and fully in the moment when she says it.
And even then.
Even then, assume she's mostly talking about her current feelings, which means you ultimately have to make your own decisions, grounded in your truth and purpose, after really hearing and considering her feelings.
So you don't resent her changing moods, but appreciate her sensitivity, her emotional weather patterns.
Yeah, see it as part of her feminine essence, not a flaw to be fixed.
Okay. Next, tolerating her leads to resenting her.
Right. It is clear. The point of intimacy is mutual growth, expanding into deeper love. Just passively tolerating her moods or emotional cycles, that inevitably breeds resentment in you, and it stops growth for both of you.
And her cycle of opening and closing, it's natural, like seasons. It never ends.
It's part of her essence, like all natural cycles. It doesn't end. So the actionable lesson: instead of tolerating or trying to talk endlessly about the moods,
Participate actively.
yes, participate and open her moods with your skillful loving. See her moods not as a problem to endure, but as a challenge and an amusement, an opportunity for your conscious presence to make a difference.
And he suggests getting creative, physical, humorous.
Totally. Tickle her, dance the Watusi spontaneously, sing opera dramatically, make funny animal sounds, shout, then kiss her passionately, press your belly into hers, lift and spin her.
Things that break the pattern physically, often better than talk.
Often much more effective, he notes. So, connecting this back to you, if you're constantly frustrated by her moods of closure, Daida's saying this is your chance to develop your masculine skill. Your skill in serving your woman into openness.
Don't just watch her struggle. Take responsibility to bloom her into fullness.
Exactly. It shifts the perceived burden, yes. But crucially, it empowers you with tools to change the dynamic.
Okay, chapter 19. Don't analyze your woman. This targets a common guy mistake, right?
Oh, huge one. Trying to logically analyze her emotional problems, thinking, if I find the cause, I can apply the cure. Deida says flatly, it doesn't work that way for the feminine, and often makes things worse.
So what is the core issue, according to him?
This is groundbreaking for many. 90% of a woman's emotional problems stem from feeling unloved.
90%, that's simple.
That simple, that profound. So the actionable lesson for you: stop analyzing immediately. Instead, assume she is more like a flower that needs watering than an engine that needs a carburetor adjustment.
Give her love, now, unmistakably.
Yes. Walk to her, look deep in her eyes, hold her, stroke her, tell her you love her, smile, hum, dance with her. Whatever expresses love clearly. That's what she truly wants, he says. And it will often evaporate the problem faster than any analysis.
Which flows right into, don't suggest that a woman fix her own emotional problem.
Exactly. Because forcing her to analyze or fix her emotions, Deida argues, is a negation of her feminine core. He describes her core as pure energy in motion, like the ocean, fluid, changing, not meant for dissection.
She gets free by surrendering into love, not by analyzing blocks. That's a man's way.
That's his distinction, yeah. Analyzing is the masculine approach. Surrender into love is the feminine path to freedom. And connecting this to you, a woman's deepest desire, often unspoken, isn't to always have to figure things out for her man. She wants to trust his direction.
He uses that birthday present example.
Perfect illustration. You've got 30 minutes to pack, everything is taken care of. That's a gift of masculine direction. Versus, what do you want to do? Which puts her in masculine decision-making mode.
So the actionable lesson: don't treat her like a guy by expecting analysis. Don't try to turn the ocean into a swimming pool.
Exactly. Instead, be so full in your loving, so strong and stable in your presence, that she can just let go and surrender the limits she has put on her feelings. Love her with your whole body, press love into her, breathe with her, let her relaxation liberate her own inherent wisdom, which comes through feeling, not logic.
Okay, chapter 21. Stay with her intensity to a point. This addresses the fear or disgust men often feel about intense female emotion.
Yeah, the bad moods, the hysterical emotions. The impulse is to shut it down or run away. But Deida reveals this secret.
There's pleasure for her in you staying present.
The found pleasure for her when a man stands full, present, and unreactive in the midst of his woman's emotional storms. Staying present, loving her through the wildness and closure, that's what builds her deepest trust. That allows her to relax.
And he connects how you react to her chaos to how you react to the world's chaos.
Directly. You can train yourself to master the world by learning to be free and loving in her storms.
So the actionable lesson: maintain full breath, strong body, present attention, no matter how wild it gets.
Yes. Give her love unconditionally. He even suggests physically expressive things. Press your belly into her. Smile. Scream and then lick her face.
Okay, maybe skip the licking part depending on the situation.
Maybe. But the point is, learn to genuinely enjoy her anger, her tears, her silent hardness. The game is to find every situation workable. Transform it through your unwavering love without being attached to the outcome.
Right. Last one for this part. Don't force the feminine to make decisions.
This ties back to the birthday present thing. Expecting her to always make her own decisions, be solely accountable. Deida says that's abandoning your masculine gift of direction. It forces her to magnify her masculine side.
Which depletes her feminine essence over time.
Exactly. So the actionable lesson for you, your gift, is the ability to see all the options and make a decision. To evoke her feminine gifts, you have to offer your masculine gifts.
Never just say, do whatever you want.
Never. Offer your perspective, your direction, even on small things, like the shoe example. I'd really like the red shoes, but what's most important to me is that you're happy.
So you offer direction and love.
Precisely. He explains feminine decisions often come from feeling what feels right now, while masculine ones focus on outcomes, purpose. The point isn't just the best decision, it's maintaining that crucial masculine-feminine polarity.
Because if you stay neutral, she becomes chronically sharp, angular, distrustful.
Yeah, the attractive juiciness gets replaced by feeling like two buddies. Friendly, maybe, sexually flat.
Okay, makes sense. Let's shift to part 3. Working with polarity and energy. The dance of attraction itself.
Right. And this starts with a fundamental assertion. Your attraction to the feminine is inevitable.
For a man with a masculine essence.
Yes. He says you're naturally, choicelessly attracted to feminine energy in all its forms. Radiant women, sure, but also music, beer, nature, a lush tropical island.
It's a healthy flow of polarity, not shameful.
Not shameful at all, he insists. It's a natural flow. And connecting this to you, if you feel uncomfortable or ashamed about this attraction, Deida suggests it often points to discomfort with your own masculine essence.
This desire is part of a deeper yearning for oneness, freedom.
Exactly. It's an aspect of your deeper desire for pleasurable oneness, which ultimately leads towards spiritual freedom.
So the actionable lesson when you feel that thrill of attraction, don't just stare or act inappropriately.
No. Instead, consciously relax into the thrill. Let her feminine energy move through your body like a deep massage. Breathe fully. Receive her beauty, her energy as a blessing without needing to act on it.
Use it as inspiration for creativity.
Yes. For artistic, social, spiritual creativity, not just raw sexual impulse.
Okay. Next, choose a woman who is your complementary opposite. This sounds important for long-term passion.
Vital. He says you're always attracted to your sexual reciprocal. A highly masculine man is drawn to a highly feminine woman.
And this woman might seem wild, undisciplined, bonkers, chaotic, changes her mind, seems to lie.
She might seem that way from a purely masculine logical perspective. But Deida argues it's those very qualities, her untamed energy, her emotional fluidity, that are deeply healing and inspiring to him.
And trying to neutralize that, depolarize the relationship, and that's why couples break up.
It's one of the main reasons, he states. The key isn't to change her irritating feminine ways, but to cultivate the depth and rejuvenative power of her feminine blessings.
So the actionable lesson is, accept her fluidity. Recognize her emotional spectrum as part of what turns you on.
Exactly. Learn to be turned on by her dance of anger as much as by her slinky purr. Stand free and strong in your own masculine core and embrace her complete feminine power, dark and light.
Okay. Chapter 25, know what is important in your woman. Addressing the problem of making one partner be everything.
Yeah, the modern trap. Expecting your intimate partner to be your business partner, best friend, co-parent, and passionate lover. The different energies often cancel out, he says, leads to that sexually neutralized alliance.
Mystery gets replaced by domesticity.
Pretty much. So the actionable lesson for you. Decide the single highest priority for your intimacy. If it's truly that passionate transmission of love, rejuvenative healing of sexual energy, and cultivation of heart through mutual commitment to spiritual awakening,
Then don't force her into just functional roles like accountant or chore doer.
right, don't squash her essence into just function. Because connecting this to you, as a masculine man, you need frequent rejuvenative feminine energy.
Which can come from simple pleasures, but ideally from your radiant woman.
Ideally, yes. So don't squash the fullness of her feminine energy into merely functional roles. Give her the opportunity and your masculine transmission of love to awaken your heart, fill your body with life, let her radiance flow.
Okay. Now for chapter 26. You will often want more than one woman. This is tricky.
It's direct, yeah, and potentially controversial. But Deida presents it as recognizing masculine nature. A man with a dominant masculine essence will naturally desire sexual variety, even if deeply committed.
And this isn't a reflection of lack in the relationship, but his nature.
Not a reflection of any lack. It is a reflection of your nature as a masculine sexual being. That's his stance. But the actionable lesson is critical.
This is not an excuse for promiscuity.
Absolutely not. Self-discipline, he says, means your highest desires rule your lesser desires, not through resistance, but through loving action grounded in understanding and compassion.
And before even considering multiple partners.
He suggests it is best to prove your capacity with one. Can you actually achieve deep communion, rejuvenating passion, spiritual happiness in your current relationship?
If not, discipline that desire and focus on deepening what you have first.
Exactly. It's about self-mastery, not self-indulgence.
Got it. Chapter 27. Young women offer you a special energy. What's this about?
He argues young women often less compromised by years of building masculine layers of functional protection.
Because the world can be tough.
Right. They offer a uniquely radiant, unobstructed, and refreshing feminine energy, which can be deeply rejuvenative for a masculine man.
But he clarifies this isn't just about sex or looks.
Crucially, no. He calls it a whole-body transmission of energy. Affecting the heart and spirit as much as the genitals, he acknowledges our culture often reduces it just to sex, missing the bigger picture.
So the actionable lesson is, honor that gift without acting inappropriately.
Yes. Honor the heart rejuvenative gift without violating it by imposing sexual desire. If lust arises, learn to circulate that heightened energy through your whole body without needing release.
Use her inspiration creatively.
Exactly. For artistic, social, spiritual creativity. Recognizing sexual energy's purpose is creation, broadly defined, not just procreation. Maintain respect while receiving the energetic gift.
Okay. Last one for part 3. Each woman has a temperature that can heal or irritate you. Temperature.
The energetic temperature, yeah. Some women feel cooling, others hot or fiery, and these energies can heal or irritate you, influencing your tastes.
And your need for these temperatures can change based on health, work, stress.
Exactly. Your needs aren't static.
Yeah.
A quick-tempered guy might need a cooling woman. An easygoing guy might benefit from a hot woman to get him going.
So the actionable lesson is, changing needs are natural. Don't necessarily end the relationship over it.
Right. Understand it's natural. You can find ways to balance your energy elsewhere. Diet, activities like walking by water, maybe non-sexual energy work like massage.
The key is not to confuse temporary energy needs with a commitment in love.
That's the core insight. Energy needs are relatively easy to balance with awareness. Love commitment is deeper.
Okay, let's dive into part 4. What women really want, exploring those unspoken desires. This starts with the big one. What she wants is not what she says.
Yeah, one of the most counterintuitive but liberating lessons. He says a woman will sometimes make a request not to get you to do it, but to see if you're so weak you will just do it.
And if you just obey without checking your own truth, she's disappointed. Paradoxical.
Totally. He uses that intense story of the guy practicing sexual yoga. His wife begs him to ejaculate. But deep down, unconsciously, she wanted him strong enough to stick to his practice, not give in.
And he failed the test by ejaculating.
He failed the test, yeah, and she cried. So connecting this to you, her ultimate desire, Deida says, is to feel your full consciousness, your trustable integrity, your unshakable love, and your confidence in your mission.
She tests you to see if you'll be swayed from your truth.
Often unconsciously, yes. So the actionable lesson: never take her requests purely at face value. Always check with your deepest wisdom. Follow your highest truth, even if it seems like it means disappointing her in the moment.
Because she won't actually be disappointed if she feels your strength and clarity. She's like the goddess testing you.
That's his metaphor. Taunting, testing, seducing you to find the limits of your integrity.
Okay, next. Her complaint is content-free. What does that mean?
It means the thing your woman is complaining about is rarely the thing she is actually complaining about.
Like, she complains about the messy garage or finances, but something bigger is happening, like you have a job interview soon.
Exactly. The real underlying issue, he suggests, is her feeling a lack in your masculine capacity to direct your life with clarity, purpose, integrity, and wisdom. The garage complaint is really a test of your word, your follow-through, a check on your core.
Because your word is a demonstration of your purpose, of your masculine core.
Precisely. When you don't follow through or act without purpose, she feels your core is weak. She feels let down, can't trust your direction, which leads her to harden herself.
And her physical state, like bags under her eyes, can be feedback, an energetic mirror.
Exquisitely sensitive bodily feedback to the way you are living your life, he calls it. So the actionables lesson. Listen to her more as an oracle than as an advisor.
She's revealing your unconscious habits, areas where you're not aligned.
Yeah. Don't argue the content. Use her complaint as a sign from the universe to align your life more fully with purpose. Your job is masculine impeccability.
Okay, chapter 32. She doesn't really want to be number one. Another paradox.
Huge paradox. She might seem to want to be the most important thing in your life. But Deida argues, if she is the most important thing,
then she feels you're not fully dedicated to your higher purpose, divine growth, service.
Exactly. And that makes her feel smothered by his neediness and clinging, surprisingly.
Her deeper desire is for you to be totally dedicated to your purpose and love her fully, even willing to sacrifice the relationship for the mission.
Secretly, yes, that's his claim. That level of integrity is what makes her feel secure. So the actionable lesson for you, if your woman has become the absolute center of your life, you're lost, off your path.
Don't substitute chores and obligations for your true purpose.
Right. Don't confuse default responsibilities with your core calling. You can only be a superior father, husband, professional when living those roles as gifts given from your core, from fullness, not as leftovers.
Because if you're not living from your core, everyone feels it. Kids challenge you, colleagues take advantage, wife doesn't trust you.
Everyone feels the lack of true purpose. She
Yeah.
wants you to know your center, not for her sake, but so she can trust you to lead. Even if you're just watching TV, if she knows your life is aligned, she feels your truth and loves your courage.
Powerful. Okay, part 5. Your dark side, embracing the full spectrum of masculine energy. This sounds intense.
It is challenging, but vital. Chapter 35, you are always searching for freedom. He calls this the essential masculine ecstasy.
Ecstasy in release from constraint.
Yes. This core drive, he argues, underlies things like orgasm, winning in sports, even war. All involve confronting and breaking through limits, often associated with a feeling of death, the petite mort of orgasm, but also a symbolic death of the old self.
And this applies to spiritual freedom, too. Facing fears, letting go, ego death.
Exactly. Willingness to face fears, let go of anything limiting your love, including the fear of dissolving your separate self.
So the actionable lesson. Own that desire for freedom, enjoy lesser forms, but dedicate to the highest form.
Own it fully. Enjoy the lesser forms, boxing, cop movies, financial risks, but dedicate yourself to the highest, transcending the fear of ultimate death by facing the limiting stress of your own self-sense and relaxing into absolute freedom.
And he contrasts this with the feminine search for love, fullness through surrender. Her dark side enjoys emotional drama, not physical.
Right. Different paths, but both ultimately lead, he says, to the same unbounded and infinite ground of being. The means differ.
Okay. Then own your darkest desires, like the desire to ravish.
Yeah. He says disowning that dark masculine desire for freedom, including the impulse to ravish, which he defines carefully, actually kinks the hose of your masculine force. It causes stagnation, stops you being fearless.
So the lesson is to express dark passions with love. How? What's ravish mean here?
He says the desire to ravish is the sexual aspect of the deeper desire to break through resistance, bring things to fullness. And the crucial distinction, the difference between rape and ravishment is love.
So ravishment is about lovingly forcing surrender into greater ecstasy, a conscious act of love.
That's his definition, helping her release her own resistance and open more fully through powerful conscious love.
And there's a practice for this.
A powerful actual practice. Next time you make love, consciously feel through your own physical and emotional boundaries into her. Feel yourself move into her, boundaries dissolving.
Love with more abandon than ever. Allow all desire, dark and light, to manifest in love.
Yes, leading to selfless ecstasy and the spiritual guts to face ego death, shedding your separate self.
Wow. Okay, chapter 38. She needs your consciousness to match her energy. Back to her testing.
Back to her testing. Her underlying drive, he suggests, is to constantly test you until your consciousness can blossom her beyond her tension.
She wants your clear, strong, free consciousness as much as you want her radiance. It's a mutual need.
Exactly. So the actionable lesson, match her energy with consciousness demonstrated through your body. If she's screaming, breaking dishes, your body must meet that energy with fearlessness and strength of love.
Hugging her, laughing affectionately, physically opening her, not just telling her to open up.
Right. Embodied presence meeting her energy and connecting this to you. Deida says your woman knows your weaknesses better than anybody, knows where you'll falter, settle.
So her gift, if she's a good woman, is to test you relentlessly with her darkest moods until your consciousness is unperturbed.
That's his challenging perspective. Until you're unwavering. And in response to that fearless consciousness, she will drench your world in love and light.
Yeah.
You're learning to pervade the world, including her, with consciousness and love.
All right, part 6. Feminine attractiveness, receiving and channeling that energy. Starts with, the feminine is abundant.
Yeah, a sense of cosmic certainty here. There's never a shortage of women or feminine energy. If a man feels starved, it's because he's negating his relationship to the feminine, because life itself is the feminine.
So if you feel isolated or weary, the actionable lesson is?
Consciously imagine embracing a woman physically. Feel her softness, liveliness. Breathe deeply as if you were inhaling her intoxicating fragrance, receiving the essence of feminine deliciousness.
And extend this to women you meet daily. See them as walking blessings of energy.
Yes. Receive their anger as a jolt of awakening, their sexiness as a blessing of enlivenment, their happiness as a light shower of refreshment. Open your breath and body. Make your day a feast of plenty.
Okay, allow older women their magic, moving beyond just youthful attraction.
Exactly. While attraction to youth is natural, he says the deeper quality of feminine energy is radiance, which can deepen with age, wisdom. Youthful looks are temporary. Radiance comes from openness, trust, capacity to love.
So the actionable lesson, don't degrade older women by wanting them to be like young women. Support their wisdom, power, intuition.
Precisely. Acknowledge their psychic weight. Their magic can complement a man's style of accomplishment, offer a different kind of energetic resonance.
And if you only find yourself attracted to younger women?
He suggests questioning if you're seeking an easy relationship that lets you slide. Avoid being truly challenged. If your purpose is growth, a spiritually mature woman who won't let you slather in your comfy habits might be an excellent ally, precisely because she'll challenge you.
Got it. Chapter 41, turn your lust into gifts. Moving beyond lust, going just to the head, fantasy, or genitals need.
Right. The superior man circulates that potent energy through his whole body. He remembers the purpose of sexual desire is creation, broadly, not just reproduction. Women as muses for artistic, social, spiritual creativity.
So the actionable lesson, don't waste energy in fantasy. Cultivate and magnify inspiration by disciplining tension release.
Yes, feel lustfully, as a deep desire to unite, penetrate, receive, ultimately to give your entirety creatively.
So when you feel lust for any woman,
breathe deeply. Let the desire magnify, circulate through your body, inhale it into your heart, feel outward. On the exhale, move into the world and penetrate it, skillfully and spontaneously, opening it into love. Use her sexiness to discover and give your gift.
Okay. Then never allow your desire to become suppressed or depolarized. Denying desire leads to depolarization towards the whole world.
That's his warning. Denying desire for the feminine, by choice or just familiarity, dulls your life force. Seeking a mistress is temporary because familiarity breeds depolarization, and depolarization breeds contempt.
And your woman feels this neutralization, becomes darkened, less attractive, her energy goes chaotic.
She's highly sensitive to it, yes. Her unhusbanded energy goes chaotic, so the actionable lesson is radical.
When she appears withdrawn, dark, or downright ugly, assume she's a goddess needing your divine invasion.
Meaning your unwavering, conscious love and presence. Take utter responsibility for her transformation. Treat her mood with the same ferocity of intent as a work project.
Don't leave because you're too weak to overcome your own neutralized lack of desire, but meet the challenge.
Exactly. Manifest love the dreary world in your dreary woman. Use your body and mind to smithereen your woman's darkness into love. Even if she has yellow eyes and fangs, she still loves to dance. Her essence still longs for your loving presence.
Wow. Okay, last one for part 6. Use her attractiveness as a slingshot through appearance. What does that mean?
It means women, all appearances, attract, heal, inspire, but they can never ultimately satisfy you. That promise of final fulfillment you see in her form, it's a hoax, a mirage of your own desire.
Your ultimate desire is spiritual, union of consciousness with its own luminosity, recognizing appearance as your own blissful nature.
That's the core idea. Your desire for a woman is just a stepped-down version of that infinite spiritual longing.
So the lesson isn't to stop chasing, but to chase differently. Magnify desire to the brink.
Yes. Sustain it with full breath, relaxed body, open heart. Embrace her and give her what you want from her. Pour your love into her without limit. Give so much you can't tell who is who, and motion stops in self-release. Ego dissolves.
Practice feeling through appearance constantly, through her body, anger, beauty.
Feel through it all, so you're not distracted or obsessed, but released of need in the revelation of oneness. Bow down to her, he says, and then bow down through her into the deep. Acknowledge the form and the source beyond.
Okay, heavy stuff. Part 7. Body practices, getting into embodied consciousness. Starts with ejaculation should be converted or consciously chosen.
Right. He challenges the usual idea of premature ejaculation. Says it's less about time, more about whether it ends the deeper communion before full opening happens for both.
And he argues, frequent ejaculation actually depletes and weakens you, reduces courage.
That's his perspective, yeah. Leads to mediocrity, less life force. And connecting this to you, he says, your woman feels this depletion, subconsciously distrusts your strength.
She might want you to ejaculate short-term, but deeper down wants a man who can sustain presence. Meet her fully.
Her deeper part longs for a man who can meet her fearless and unstressful genital penetration for watery hours, evoking her fullest capacity of heart reception.
So the actionable lesson is learn to convert ejaculation into non-ejaculatory whole body, brain, heart orgasms, which are more pleasurable and rejuvenating.
That's the goal he sets out. And he offers practical methods for reconditioning the body and nervous system.
Like what? Breaking inward fantasy habits, staying present.
Totally present, yeah. Sex is a relational play of love. Second, relax and fill your body with breath. Keep the front body open, belly vast, heart soft. Prevent tension buildup.
Redirecting attention outward, feeling through your partner.
Feeling into and through her, as if your partner's body were a doorway into a vast open space. Practice feeling outward, limitlessly.
And daily breathing practices. Down the front on inhale, up the spine on exhale.
Yes. Keeps internal energy flowing freely. Diminishes the compulsive urge, prevents energy getting stuck.
Plus pelvic floor control, contracting and pulling upward.
Learning to consciously contract the pelvic floor muscles, genitals, anus, perineum, and pull them up towards the spine. Combine this upward contraction with breathing energy up the spine during sex, especially nearing orgasm, to redirect it upward into the brain and body.
It promises this allows making love longer, rejuvenating you.
That's the claim. Deeper practice, deeper pleasure, more energy. But he stresses your emotional disposition is key. Your heart must be open, governed by love, for any techniques to work. The book details these exercises.
Okay, next, breathe down the front. Dealing with tension men hold in the front body.
Exactly. Forehead, jaw, throat, chest, belly. Often from self-concern, worry. This tension constricts power, diminishes presence.
So the lesson is, cultivate a full, open front body through full, relaxed breathing.
At all times. Inhale deeply. Fill belly, then solar plexus, then chest. Exhale fully, releasing.
And practice inhaling into tense spots throughout the day, opening them like a balloon.
Yes. Consciously counter accumulated fear and anxiety. And transforming tension. Notice yourself mulling problems, creating tension. Convert that backed up energy into a gift for others. Do dishes, build something. Tension is just backed up, unexpressed gift energy.
You can even use your breath to open others' tension?
He suggests so, yeah. Inhale into their tension, open it with your breath's force. Exhale and release both yours and theirs, even without touch.
And when embracing your woman sexually,
Use your breath to open her body and heart. Inhale down her front, filling her with loving energy. Exhale, letting both dissolve in the ocean of your loving. Pervade through her with breath, dissolving her tension.
Okay. Chapter 46, ejaculate up the spine, goes deeper into converting ejaculation.
Yeah, more detail on the how-to. Again, defines premature not by time, but by ending communion before full opening. Identifies the habit from teenage masturbation. Internal imagery, self-enclosure, desire to release tension.
So the reconditioning steps are relaxation instead of tension.
Relax face, slow deepen breath, open belly, soften chest, redirect attention, focus on partner more than yourself. Feel outward, into, through her like she's a doorway. That's true lovemaking.
Breath as energy conduit, practice down, front, up, spine breathing daily.
Prevents energy clogging head, fantasy, or genitals, urge. Pelvic floor control. Practice daily contractions, pulling upward during sex. Combine upward pull with breathing energy up spine to convert orgasm's direction. Stop moving if close. Apply technique.
Leads to intense bliss, openness, more than typical ejaculation, rejuvenating.
That's the promise. Even evoking similar states in your partner with intention when proficient. But again, the crucial factor.
Practice love during sex. Emotional disposition matters most.
Absolutely. Love's intelligence guides the energy naturally. Techniques support that, but love is primary. The book gives the full details.
Got it. Final section, part 8. Men's and women's yoga of intimacy, sustaining growth. Starts with, take into account the primary asymmetry.
Fundamental difference. For masculine essence man, relationship is never highest priority. Mission freedom is. For feminine essence woman, flow of love is highest priority, including the relationship.
So if your mission is blocked, you feel off, even if loved. But for her, the relationship tone colors everything.
Exactly. And the uncomfortable truth for most men, their woman is replaceable, in a fundamental sense, can find another to support mission. For her, primary connection is central to her core.
So the actionable lesson, don't deny her essence, don't tell her to get a life, or that focusing on the relationship is unhealthy.
No, her desire for the flow of love is at her core. Support her love of loving. Her devotion to love has much to teach you.
When both honor this asymmetry, his purpose, her love, they can focus without compromise, grow together. Intimacy growth reflects life alignment.
That's the idea. If intimacy isn't growing, your life likely isn't aligned with your highest purpose.
Then you are responsible for the growth in intimacy, moving beyond independence to mutual gifting, serving each other.
Yes. The next stage, actionable lesson. Your loving intervention is one of your great masculine gifts when she's lost in moods. Be her wake-up call, her heart opener.
And if it takes more than 5 minutes to open her, you're talking too much, acting too little.
That's his practical metric, your role. Guide her moment by moment out of moods, day by day into greater divine love. If you can't offer this, question your purpose there.
Her gift to you is getting you into your body, present into love, connecting you to source. Her touch attractiveness makes your whole body alive.
Yes, like an erection, full and alive, ready to penetrate the world into love. So, actionable lesson. Be fully present. Feel through her and your body until transparent, revealing source. Serve her, even if she resists. Die in the giving of your gift. Give so completely, ego dissolves.
Okay. Chapter 49, insist on practice and growth. But first, you must be living at your edge, aligned with purpose.
Absolutely crucial prerequisite. If not, she'll fight any kind of guidance you offer her. Senses your lack of integrity.
He mentions a law of conservation of masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah, the less masculine direction you are living in truth, the more masculine direction your woman will take on, which leads her to become chronically sharp, depolarizing the relationship.
So the actionable lesson. You are entirely responsible for cutting through your own laziness, addictions, unclarity. No blame, no waiting.
Take responsibility. Use any appropriate techniques. Therapy, meditation, vision quest, journaling, teacher. Success depends entirely on your actual commitment to discovering your deepest truth and aligning your life with it.
Okay. Penultimate chapter. Restore your purpose in solitude and with other men. Too much time just with her neutralizes polarity.
Can lead to becoming neutralized householders, yeah.
Yeah.
Sexual polarity fades. Actionable lesson. She needs daily absolute abandon and celebration with other women, dancing, singing, laughing, to enliven her feminine core, support her in that.
And you need austerity and challenge with solitude and other men.
Yes, to rediscover and fine-tune your masculine core. Austerity means eliminating comforts that dull your edge. No newspapers, TV, candy, unnecessary sex cuddling talk. Strip down to face the basic discomfort and dissatisfaction, your suffering, your fear to die.
And challenge. Physical challenges, or giving your gift were blocked by fear. Public speaking, writing the novel with consequences.
Yes. Rigorous engagement. Practical recommendation. Daily solitude. 10 men sitting, no distractions. Weekly gatherings with men friends to cut through the bullshit. Brutal honesty. Challenges, consequences for not persisting. Alternate with masculine celebrations that still demand consciousness.
Okay, finally. Practice dissolving. Man's deepest desire is release. Dissolving.
Utter release, like orgasm's intensity. Actionable lesson. Moment by moment, practice loving through your woman and the world. Let the force of your surrender transform every moment into an orgasm of divine dissolution.
Embrace every moment as a lover. Trust love's direction. Die in giving your gift.
Die in the giving of your gift so you don't even notice you have stopped holding on to yourself. And the book's powerful conclusion, fear is your final excuse. Don't fight it. Love through it.
Wow. Okay. That's a journey. We've really navigated the deep, often challenging waters of the way of the superior man.
We sure have. From polarity and purpose to intimacy, dealing with challenges, transforming them.
Yeah, exploring how living authentically, embracing fear, giving your gifts fully, how it can fundamentally change your experience of everything. Self, relationships, the world. It's a lot to take in.
It's incredibly rich, yeah. So maybe a final provocative thought for you, listening to chew on.
Go for it.
In what specific area of your life right now are you maybe settling? Settling for comfort, clinging to a safe version of yourself that, deep down isn't your fullest potential.
Good question. And building on that, what single small action could you take today, like right now, to lean just beyond your edge, as Deida puts it?
Yeah, to start manifesting that new kind of guts he talks about, that life of unapologetic love, clear purpose, deep presence.
We really invite you to reflect on all this. Maybe pick just one actionable insight from today that really resonated.
Just one thing that struck you. And commit to integrating it this week. How might embracing that discomfort or speaking your deepest truth or offering love without analyzing, how might that actually transform your experience?
Because the deep dive, it doesn't really end here, does it?
Not at all. It's an ongoing journey, a journey of courageous self-discovery and generous giving.